Hello, everybody. Let's see if we can do this. So, again, my name is Katharine Hollins. I'm coming from the Yale School of Forestry and Environment. I'm part of the team there that works on the Sustaining Family Forest Initiative. And this past day and yesterday have been very exciting to me. I'm so impressed with this group that has decided to spend so much time thinking and talking and discussing communications. I think resource managers and scientists are getting a better understanding of how important it is that other people know what we're doing and what is going on, and they support us. And this communication is really a first step on that. So, I do want to ask you, though, I'm gonna have you raising your hands a lot, so you're gonna have to be with me. So, how many of you do landowner outreach or ever interact with landowners in the public ever? All right, so that's a lot of people. So, of those people that didn't raise their hands, do you have somebody in your office that does that outreach and communication? All right, so some more people. All right, how about neither of those apply to you? You don't do the outreach, you don't talk to landowners, you don't have anybody in your office that does that. All right, that makes things easy for me. So I want to today help you take some really practical things with you that you can take back to your office and implement. So we've had a lot of great information over the past couple of days, and I hope you'll go back to your notes or maybe watch the recordings that we use and be able to implement that, be able to use that, think about the words that you're using and how you're talking to people. Okay. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of background about the program that I'm working on and our major initiative, which is called the Tools for Engaging Landowners Effectively. I want to talk about targeted marketing, which is the practical thing that I want you to take with you. I'm also going to give you some ideas about landowner data. So there were people, Neil and Sarah talked about focus groups, and if you can do focus groups or surveys of your landowners, great. If you can't do that, you still have no excuses because I'm giving you other information. And then last, I'm going to end us with some case studies of people that have used the targeted marketing approach that I'm talking about and have implemented and had success. So by the end of this, I want you to consider using targeted marketing. I'm taking away all of the excuses for you not to at least try it, and then feel like you have enough information to at least get started with it. So please raise your hand if you are familiar with the Sustaining Family Forest Initiative. We've got a couple. How about the Tools for Engaging Landowners Effectively? Probably the same people, that's all right. This is good. Hopefully, I think I saw a couple people that have been through our program before. This is a partnership between the Yale School of Forestry, the U.S. Forest Service, and the Center for Nonprofit Strategies, which is a consulting company that works on outreach efforts. And we began, this is us. These are all the people. We began in 2004 with the idea that people, natural resource professionals like yourself, were coming to us and saying, we're not having the effects that we want with our outreach. We weren't satisfied with the outcomes. We were just talking recently about, how do you know when you're done? Well, they knew they weren't done there. And they wanted to learn better ways to do this to be a little bit more effective. I think we've talked about this already. People are short on time. People are short on money. We want to be efficient with these things, so not asking you to spend a whole bunch more time on this, but to use your time a little bit more effectively. In 2010, we came up with the Tools for Engaging Landowners Effectively program, and this is the kind of main crux of what we do. We have a bunch of online resources, but these workshops are where we get a lot of results. So in these 2-day workshops, we train participants in targeted marketing for landowner outreach. And they work in small groups through this process to create an outreach campaign. When they're done, we want them to leave with a campaign and then the tools to repeat that process for other things that they need in the future. We have been working across the United States. We've gone back to a couple different places. Yes, we've been to Hawaii. No, I did not get to go. We have almost 1,000 folks who go through our program, working with a lot of different organizations. We're very excited. A lot of state folks, so state foresters, state natural resource departments, a lot of NGOs, so a little bit of variety in there. And that, we'll move on to, so, nobody told you there would be a quiz. I'm telling you there's a quiz now. First, how do you feel about marketing? Kind of a quick thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs down, thumbs up. Over here. I don't see anything. One thumb up. Okay. All right. So maybe not a lot of feeling kind of neutral about it. We like to think about marketing simply as a tool that can be used for good or bad. You can use it to sell something to people that they don't need, or you can use it to encourage people to use public transportation instead of driving, or to manage their diabetes better. So we're using it as a tool. How is it different from education? This is that quiz that I just warned you about, so you're not surprised. Sarah gave us the answer yesterday. Sometimes we think, over here? Changes the behavior. That's right. So Sarah mentioned yesterday, a lot of times we think there's this knowledge deficit. But, yeah, sometimes there's misinformation. Yeah, sometimes people don't know something. But knowledge is not enough to create a behavior change, to create an action. If we think back to the presentation yesterday, these people that are already rebuilding wooden homes back in Gatlinburg, we can say, oh, they're just dumb. But I think we said enough times yesterday, people are not dumb. But we didn't say what they are. And it's very complicated. You are complicated. They are complicated too. And if you think it doesn't apply to you, raise your hand if you got up and exercised this morning. All right, there's a couple. Most of you did not. No shame, but science says it is good for your health. You didn't do it. I'm sure there are a lot of reasons why you didn't do it. I'm sure there are a lot of reasons why those people in Gatlinburg are building wooden homes that they know can burn. They know it. Back in those places. Do you know anybody that smokes that thinks it is good for them? Right. There are a lot of reasons why we do things despite the knowledge. So, yes, knowledge is important. Yes, we can help by spreading knowledge, but that is not enough. So we need more than that. We just mentioned this, we're doing a specific behavior change. I've added targeted to this. This is one way that we kind of separate ourselves from commercial marketing. Sometimes targeted marketing is called social marketing, then people get it confused with social media. So we're sticking with targeted marketing, and I think that also helps us focus in on what we're going to talk about today. We're talking about a selected group of people. This is a hard thing for a lot of us to do, especially if you're a government agency employee. You're supposed to be open to everybody. You do not discriminate against people. You want to serve the whole community. However, when we're doing our advertising and our marketing, if we try to throw everything in there, it just gets watered down. It doesn't talk to anybody. So we're trying to please everybody, please nobody. So we do have to segment our audience. We have to figure out who it is we want to talk to, what they care about. To kind of tie that in, I have a couple examples. This is an ad for yogurt. It has a teeny tiny little logo on there. It's some kind of light yogurt. Who is it targeting? I can't hear it.
Men.
Men, maybe. It's got these little yogurt warts on this woman that make her look skinny. Okay? This is targeting women that want to be skinny by eating yogurt. About this one. This is pretty recent, the last Olympics. Who is it targeting? Americans, a little bit of pride. People want to be fit. People want to be athletic. It's good aspiration. I could be like an Olympian. What about this one? Who's this targeting? This is not targeting me. I think this ad is kind of gross to think about like a hamburger yogurt. It seems gross, but protein. Vegetarian. Maybe.
Well, no, yeah, because you need protein. Is that they're saying you can get 12 grams of protein?
Yeah, you can substitute this for your protein. I've seen some ads for this yogurt that they look a lot like the protein powder ads, right? So if we have our A, B, and C, who in here, raise your hand if you feel like this ad targets you. You look at it and you think, I might go eat some yogurt. A couple people in the back. All right. How about this one? Think, I might eat some yogurt. That's more people. How about this one? Hamburger yogurt? There we go. So some of you did not raise your hand. That is okay. You are not their target audience. When they spend a lot of money on advertisements, right? They're not trying to reach everybody at once. They've chosen the audience that they think will fit their product the best, or actually vice versa. They have created a product for the audience that they want, and then they create the ad. So let's look at this one. This one's a little bit more in the vein of social marketing instead of commercial marketing. Telling us that if you smoke, you will die sooner. Who is it targeted to? Shout it out.
Smokers.
Smokers. Mm-hmm. Anything else? What's that? Families of smokers, maybe? It's pretty generic. So, smokers, a big population, families. Let's say we're targeting teenage boys. We are now health professionals. We don't, we're concerned about their lungs and their hearts, and we don't want them to die young. We think if we can catch them early, they just started smoking or something, or they haven't started smoking yet, then it'll be easier than later when they're older and they're more addicted and it's harder to get people to stop. Is this effective for teenage boys? No. They are invincible. They will never die. What is this 14 minutes? I don't care. This might be a little bit more. Okay? So here, I'm a health professional. I care about their hearts and living longer. But I have figured out what they care about. It overlaps. The thing that is most important to me is not the most important to them. And so I'm finding out what is important to them and targeting my marketing to them. Okay. So, we know now that, here's another small example. Think about catching fish. You don't put 10 different types of bait on your hook and hope that something's going to survive. You have a certain kind of bait, you probably have a certain kind of line, you go to a certain spot, and that's how you catch the fish that you want. So we are out there catching people fish. We're going to come up with the right lure for them that lines up with what they want. You might love sandwiches. Don't put a sandwich on your bait hook. It's not going to catch a fish. All right, so we know now that it is important to target people. How then do we target them? How do we know what they want, what they care about, how we can align with them? A lot of times we think of landowners as a sky. They're all the same. What I want to talk about is how they are different. If we try to target this one person, we're losing a lot. This person might not be the one that's in your region. that's next to your property. People own their land for a lot of different reasons. They have different values associated with it. They do different stuff on their land. A lot of times they own it with other people, their families. They have different challenges for themselves. You know, we were talking earlier about little old lady can't burn on her property. Different people have different reasons why they can and cannot do things, or why they want or don't want to do things. So, to help you out with this, we have landowner data. Again, I hope you will re-reference the stuff that we had yesterday and this morning about the landowners, the words that work, the things that they care about. I'm going to be talking to you about the National Woodland Owner Survey. Who's familiar with the National Woodland Owner Survey? A couple people. A lot of great data. It is available online. I also am incorporating information from focus groups that we've done around the country, so you can use this information as well. So this, again, is me taking that hard step of gathering landowner data and moving it aside so that you can use this data when you're doing your outreach. The data that I have about so we haven't talked about the National Woodland Owner Survey data. So we have said that a couple people are familiar. It is the official census of forest landowners in the United States. Started in the late 70s, now we have the 2011-13 data. It uses an area-based random sampling to select for private landowners to participate. It's very robust. They have a 52% cooperation rate, which is unheard of in social sciences. That is amazing. And it's because it's very thorough. They send a postcard that says, here, the survey is on the way. They send the survey. If you don't fill out the survey, they send it again. They have another postcard. They call you. So they want people to participate. They want to get robust numbers, so this is good data. The purpose of it is to figure out who these landowners are, why they own their land, what they have done on their property, and what they're planning to do on their property in the future. The ones that we talk about are 10 or more acres. There is data for the other ones. And I have pulled out New England data, or not New England, Northeast data to talk about today. But if you go online, you can get it for your individual state. You can get it for different regions. So there's a lot of different stuff you can dive into. I will say, though, if you go in and you get your state data, it's probably not going to look terribly different from what I'm showing you today. Some things will change around, but these things are common across the whole country. So we want to find out what's important to our landowners. We can start by looking at their reasons for owning land. Up here you have beauty at the top, and down you have timber and non-timber forest products. This is not saying that beauty is more important than timber. This is saying that more people said that beauty is important to them than said timber is important to them. So they could check off whatever they want. Make sense? Okay. So, up at the top we've got beauty, wildlife, privacy, nature, water. Those things came up yesterday too. How can you talk about how fire is going to improve the beauty of somebody's property or of the forest? How can you talk about how it's going to improve wildlife? These are the things that people care about. This is where their desires overlap with your own. So maybe beauty or wildlife is not your primary concern, maybe it's fuel reduction. But think about how you can reframe what you're saying to be something that they do care about. I was telling Amanda this analogy earlier, and I'm not entirely sure it's going to fly, so we'll see how it works. But weather is extremely important for birding, right? One of the most important things. You cannot control the weather, but you use it, you study it, you understand it, and you use it to your advantage. We cannot control people, or their beliefs, or their attitudes, or their past knowledge, but we can understand it, and we can use that to accomplish our own goals. So we wait until the wind is in the right direction, and we go with beauty, or we go with water for these people. We can also think about things that they're concerned about. Property tax is very high, often all across the country. Keeping the land intact. I'm having trouble seeing. Vandalism. So, another flip to that coin is just the things that people are concerned about. And again, this is what they are concerned about, not what you are concerned about. You might be concerned about forest health, but they look in their backyard and they see trees and there's greens, there's shrubs in there. It looks healthy to them. So it's in the eye of the audience, all of this is. So to help you think about targeting your marketing a little bit more, we had taken the survey data from the National Landowner Survey data, done some statistical grouping, and we've come up with these two spectrums that people tend to fall on. So if you answer these questions in this way, you'll tend to answer these other questions in this other way. And we have financial values and we have amenity values. So financial is timber, land investment, low or high. Amenity values are things like beauty, serenity, privacy, things like that. You can be lower. And we've given them names, and we've given them pictures to help us think about it a little bit better. So these woodland retreat folks, they don't care about the money. They are in it for the privacy, the beauty, the hiking. We'll kind of go clockwise around. The working the land folks, they think that everything is important. They want to be out there enjoying stuff, but they also think that the land should provide some sort of value. Supplemental income are kind of the opposite of the woodland retreat people. These people see land as an asset, primarily. Uninvolved, they don't say that anything's important. Different can of worms. And then just thinking about these people across the landscape, we've got a lot of woodland retreat type people that own private forest land in the United States. But the acreage, a lot of times they're owning smaller pieces, so the acreage is not the same. People don't necessarily fit exactly into one of these categories. Usually, it is a spectrum. So somebody might be kind of in the middle, one or two. They can move over time. You might have a family where one person is in one category, another person's in another category. But the important part about this is to be able to think a little bit more critically about who our landowners are, what they care about, and how we can find overlap between what they care about and what we care about. And be able to speak to them on their terms. So these woodland retreat folks, they often want to be good stewards of the land. However, they don't always know what to do. A lot of times they think nature is taking care of itself. We need to protect nature from people. So management might not be on their radar. It might be bad. They tend to go for non-consumptive uses like hiking and bird watching. These working land folks are much more of a DIY type of person. They like to be out on their land. They like to be working. They do value the amenities, but they include things like, going hunting, cutting timber for firewood, things like that. They do want the land to be providing value so that it can stay working. Sometimes they have preconceived ideas about what to do. I used to work with volunteer land stewards. I had this one guy spend, I don't even know how much time, clearing out all of the woody debris along the creek. Because he thought it made it look nicer and it was cleaner. That was a hard conversation to have because he had this notion of what he was supposed to do, and he put so much effort into that. So these people, the kind of DIY, they might not be seeking you out for help. They might know already what they're supposed to do. Supplemental income, again, they're focused on the money, timber investment. They're the opposite of those woodland retreat people. One nice thing about this group is they might be willing to invest in something. Some of the management that we ask people to do costs money, costs time. They might be willing to invest in that if you can clearly show to them that it will pay off in the long run. So that's something to think about with those folks. Not involved, we don't know that much about them because they don't answer very many questions very positively. There is a little bit of information that they tend to maybe have inherited their land. They might be farmers, and it's not to say that the farmers don't care about their land, but they care about the tillable land, and this wooded area is just adjacent to it. It's not what they're attending to. forestry for the birds. Couple people. So, forestry for the birds is one way that people have worked to engage these woodland retreat people. So we said woodland retreat people think nature will manage itself. We need to protect it from people. They love watching birds, hiking, being out in the woods. Forestry for the Birds was able to take their love of the birds, their desire to support wildlife, and show them how managing their property can help these birds. So these people who did not want to cut any timber before were able to come around to a different way of thinking about their property and how to manage it, learning that yes, sometimes people managing nature is good, and get on board with forestry for the birds. If you think about cost share things, a lot of times those are important to working land people, to supplemental income people. They're thinking about the money aspects of this. Does anybody here target their outreach in any way? Not necessarily with these 4 different types, but thinking about what your landowners want when you're doing outreach. Okay, so a couple people. So the rest of you have homework. I expect you to try this. Okay. We do have other segmentation profiles on the website, engaginglandowners.org. So you can look it up by your states. You can look at small or large acreage. You can see, somebody who has cut timber in the past 5 years. How do they think about these things? And so all of that information, those bar charts that I had earlier, you can go and look that up by these different aspects. And this again is to help you figure out who these landowners are, what they care about, where that overlaps with what you care about. Okay. We are ready for the case studies. And finally, she has a picture of fire. Okay. This is the Island Park Sustainable Fire Community. It's an area in Oregon. Butts up against a mountain range that is primarily federal forest. This group, the Island Park Sustainable Fire Community, wanted to decrease the risk from wildfire in this interface here. They decided to target full-time residents. They had a secondary audience of seasonal and management companies. Why do you think they did that? Why they target full-time residents instead of seasonal folks?
Full-time residents will have more investment, more time, and do some projects.
So full-time residents have something more invested, they have a little bit more time to do projects. Mm-hmm.
Maybe have also seen fire more recently or understand it better than people who live in Florida up there.
So people, the full-time residents might have seen it a little bit more, they understand it a little bit better. Yeah, these are all definitely things. You think about when you go up to your cabin for vacation, you don't want to spend a lot of time working. Okay. So this group knew their audience, and they could make these statements about their audience because they knew them. They didn't do fancy research or focus groups, but they knew people that worked with these folks, and they could ask. They could ask people, call up their neighbor, find out some of these things. They were also involved in the community. If they had targeted a larger swath of people beyond these full-time residents, it would have been really hard to make these statements about these people. So that's, again, when we target our audiences, we can say things about them that we know and be better able to come up with something for them. One of the things I do want to mention here that's really important for this is these landowners did not think that they could do anything if a fire came through. They didn't think that they, as individual landowners, could make a difference on the landscape. You asked them, they said, if a fire comes through, the Forest Service is going to put it out. Not great. And I do want to mention, too, yesterday Sarah talked about how landowners feel responsible responsible for their property. And I don't think this is different from that. These people felt responsible for their property, but they felt like anything they did did not have an impact. So those aren't necessarily different from each other. You see how they can kind of interact. All right, this is a postcard. This group came to one of our Tools for Engaging Landlords Effectively workshops. They came up with this postcard, and now I'm going to give you an assignment. So I want you to take 3 minutes, buddy up with your neighbors, don't let anybody be by themselves, don't let anybody be on their phones, and look at this postcard and tell me what you think about it. Tell me, what are they asking people to do? Why are they asking you to do that? Why is anybody going to look at this postcard instead of throwing it away? So I'm giving you 3 minutes. Talk to your neighbors, and then you're going to come back as a group, and you're going to tell me what you decided. Okay, go. Kindly.
It's got a nice picture of the sea.
Yeah, it does. Do you need a button? That they mentioned it's a free wildfire risk. And they say it's like, this is yours, just take it. It's pretty effective.
Help protect your property.
And it seems like they kind of sold it like it's a thing that's already happening. Sustainable fire, so it's like you're supposed to be a part of this, but not even if you aren't. It's pretty cool. I'm not sure why they picked that picture rather than just like, yeah, I mean there's water, yeah. And it gives them that sense of responsibility too.
Key term free. That'll work for a lot of people.
I think that's and people, yeah. Although I would wonder if that has any pushback because there's so many times where they're like, get your free loan or whatever, things like that. And I wonder if they have any pushback because of that, or people are like, it's going to cost me money later on. People are pretty savvy to stuff like that.
Free vacation anyway.
Yes, exactly, yeah. 2 free vacation in Disney World.
Sure.
What do you think about this postcard? So, all right, you have about 30 seconds to finish up.
You have to get up there and talk about it.
Yeah, you're on the spot. Now that you're elected official.
Better figure it out.
Freeze them.
All right, 3 minutes is short. So, tell me, what do you think? This is a real postcard that went out to people. Are you turning it in? Okay.
That's the word free. Everybody likes to see the word free.
Free. People like to see free. People want to know what they're signing up for. They're not signing up for somebody to come and then, oh, there's a fee. What else?
They focused on beauty. I mean, they have like that kind of sunset image there.
They focused on beauty. They have a sunset image.
But they also have like that subtle wave you going through the sun, which is kind of like a subtle fire reminder.
Okay, so maybe a little bit of fire reminder with the coloring. That's a really, let's keep going, yes.
Suggest that you can make a difference not only for your own home, but for the community as a whole.
Right, you can make a difference for your own home and the community. They're really playing on that community responsibility that people feel. Yes.
That was going to say they didn't use fire adapted, they changed it to sustainable fire community, which is a planned word.
Yeah, not fire adapted, sustainable fire community.
The arrow moving the community forward.
The arrow moving the community forward. This definitely has a feel to it. This is what you should do. Go that way. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I couldn't help thinking somebody spent some money on that. It's a good looking piece of art there, and they're doing something for free. So somebody somewhere got an angle, so somebody got some funding.
All right. So this is free, and it looks like it maybe was an expensive thing to put together. So what's the angle? That's what you're saying. What's the catch? Over
Yeah,
here.
I'm kind of biased because I was applying for this position. was, they wanted to brand it, and they put a branded logo there, so they're really taking it as a marketing strategy. You got a brand, you got a logo, this is what we can go with.
Right, they have a brand. This is a partnership.
Yep.
This Island Park Sustainable Fire Community is a partnership. But they didn't put up all of the logos. This is a partnership that is known in the area, and they decided that, we're going to focus on our logo. This is a house that looks like the houses that people have here. And it's distracting to put all of these other things on it. All of these other logos kind of become a distraction. And this is the back. It looks like a postcard. We just typed this in, so it's a little different. But if you go to their website, all of the logos are represented there. So they're not hiding things from people. If people are kind of concerned about what's the catch, where's the money coming from, they can go check it out on the website. I do want to talk about the picture a little bit more. So we said they were going for the beauty that people care about. Why didn't they have that kind of background fire picture? Why didn't they do that?
Scare everybody.
It could scare everybody. What else?
Negative imagery.
Negative imagery? Yeah, that's exactly right. So, we're all dealing with fire here. Fire is scary to people. And a thing that we all do as humans is when there's something that is scary that we cannot control, we block it out. Because if you are worried all the time about things that you can't control, that takes up too much mental effort and you can't get the rest of your life done. So they knew already that this group of people did not feel like they had the control to deal with these fires. So they thought, if we put a postcard out here that has a burning up house on it, people are going to look at it and say, oh my gosh, my house, this is terrifying, I can't do anything about it, I don't want to think about it. And they would throw away the card before they realized, oh hey, there is something I can do about it. So they wanted to focus in on this beauty. People there see houses burning all the time. It's in the news, they know it. So they're focusing in on this beauty, instead trying to bring them in and get them to flip it over and read it. That is half the battle, is getting people to actually read what you have instead of just pitching it. All right, I think we covered everything. This is a good group. Now, do you think, well, let's look at this evaluation. So, again, thinking about when are you done, you can't know when you're done if you don't have any goals. So, they set some goals, and they were very happy with the results of this. I think this 87% of property owners was somewhere close to half, which is great for this area. And they had all of these evaluations completed, they had more scheduled, they hauled away pump and slash, they had demo projects. So this is not just a postcard. This is part of a larger project. Hauling away slash serves a couple different purposes. Puts a time frame on people. They say, all right, you've had your evaluation, we told you what to do, you need to cut this out, and we're going to be here at the end of the month to haul it away for you. So you better do it now, before our truck goes away. And also that was a barrier for people. People in this area don't necessarily have big trucks that they can use to haul this stuff away on their own, so why bother cutting it if they can't haul it away? So they're giving people a timeline, they're helping reduce a barrier. They also had people going to community meetings, they had people knocking on doors. Again, this was not just a postcard, and we can't rely on one thing to get all of this. The next case study is the Indian Creek Woodland Savannah Restoration Initiative. Again, this was another partner collaborative working on supporting woodland health. They had decided that they wanted to have a workshop as kind of the first step of their collaborative. They came to one of our workshops with an existing flyer. At the workshop, they revamped it and out the next day. So the purpose of this is to show you that small changes can make a difference. You don't have to spend a ton of time or know a ton about this to be able to make these changes that can have an impact. So on the left is the original flyer. On the right is the new flyer. And I can zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. This is the original one. This is the new one. Instead of taking time in our small groups, if you'll shout things at me, I won't make you get into small groups. So tell me, what are some of the changes that they made? I want to hear some people in the back. You've been too quiet. Tell me one thing that they changed. You don't even have to tell me why.
Bring a friend.
Bring a friend.
They really improved the bullet points.
They improved the bullet points in the right-hand column. Let's see, what are some of those bullet points? Prescribed burning, fire breaks, water bars. What's a water bar? However, growing healthier trees? Yes. Managing for wildlife? Yes. Those are things that people care about. That was that jargon. We saw those columns yesterday of, use these words, don't use these words. So they helped flip some of that. Some of that stuff is scary to people, or they see it and they're like, I don't know what that is, I don't need it on my property. Okay, so we're speaking in terms of the results that you see, which is much more exciting than the management. So reducing soil erosion, I can be on board with that, but I don't really care about water bars. What else?
Changing the focus to quail.
They changed the focus to quail. So this partnership was not in the same place as that Island Park Sustainable Fire Community. They didn't have an existing brand. They came up with this Indian Creek Watershed Savannah Restoration Initiative. They came up with that name for a grant. Nobody knew who they were. People look at this flyer, don't know what Savannah Restoration is, throw it away. They knew that people in this community had a history of quail, and it was important to them. It's about legacy. Something, again, that's important to these people, this quail legacy. Is there one in the back? No, stretch.
More inclusive title.
More inclusive title, pictures.
They emphasize the waterways on the map on the website.
They emphasize the waterways on the map. We didn't really think that people would be able to figure out if they were included on the map on the left. On the right, it's a little bit easier to see. What do those pictures do?
Passes on the legacy, the future, the adult with the child.
Right? The adult with the child really pulls on that legacy thing, something that people do care about. Kind of emotional tie. Makes you take a second look. Why is there this picture of a quail here? What are those people doing? It serves a purpose. Pictures as decoration is not good. Pictures as purpose, good. They did maintain their logo soup. They thought it was important. They talked a lot about it. So it was a conscious decision. They thought they needed to have that there, especially because they didn't want people to look at it and say, well, what's the catch? They wanted to be very obvious about who they were and what was going on. Anything else about this one?
Where they said that there would be lunch, and now it's catered lunch from Crisp Catering.
Right. They've let us know who the caterer is, and I don't actually know, but I'm pretty sure that this is a known caterer that people are excited about. So things like that can draw people in a little bit more. Alright, so they're letting people know what to expect from this workshop. It's a lot more obvious in the second one. It's helping them see that they can make a difference. They also said, land's great and small. They didn't want people to feel left out if they had a small piece of property. They wanted that included. Great. I will leave it with that. to know your audience. This has been repeated by many of us over the past 2 days. You have to know your audience and what they care about. And the reason we keep saying it is because it is important. Focusing on their needs and their desires, their barriers to why they can't act. What do you want them to actually do on the ground? Do you want them to burn their own property? Do you want them to, support you when other people are arguing against you? Think about what you want and how you can get them to do that for you. Again, you can get started at engaginglandowners.org, and please reach out to me if you have questions, thoughts, concerns.